we're going to go over how to report a transaction from your Form 1099-K if you sold a personal item at a loss. So I recorded this video a couple months ago, and I wasn't quite sure how the form instructions worked on one of these transaction reports, and it turns out that I made a mistake. So I wanted to thank Retired and Reselling, I believe that's the user's name, for pointing this out to me in the form of a question on the comments. So what I've decided to do is take down the old video, re-record this video. We'll walk through the two ways you can report a transaction. I will walk through a screenshot of the mistake that I recorded, and then what I found through later research is the proper way to report this transaction. So I wanted to thank Retired and Reselling. I'll put a link in the show notes. Unfortunately, the only way I could do this was to take down the old video, which meant taking down any comments that were associated with it. And so because it did contain incorrect information, I did not archive it like I have done with previous videos. I decided to take that down, re-record everything, point out the mistake that I made, and show you the correct way to do this. So a lot of this will be a recap from the original video. There are two ways that you can report a personal item that you sold at a loss on your tax return. It is important to note that either of those two ways will result in a wash transaction. Basically, you can't record a loss that you can deduct on your tax return. And part of that was the mistake I made when I was on IRS Form 8949. I wasn't very clear on how to report that. I'll show you how to do that correctly. But what you can do, because this is reported as revenue on your Form 1099, you need to report that revenue as a source of income, but you can then offset that revenue so it ends up being a zero net effect on your adjusted gross income. So you do need to report any 1099-K transactions that are reported to you, because if you don't, then the IRS will receive that 1099-K, and you might receive a notice of an underreporting of your taxable income. So first, I will walk you through the Form 1099-K. Then we'll go over to Schedule 1. We'll show you how to make those entries. We'll go through Form 8949, where I'll show you up to the point where I made that mistake. I'll show you the screenshot of the mistake, and then I'll show you exactly how you should report this correctly. So in this Form 1099, this is how it was posted in the original video. Turns out that John Doe sold something for $50,000. It reported to him on his 1099-K. There was exactly one transaction that went through a Venmo. It was to Acme Electronic Payments. And so basically it was through Venmo. You've got all the taxpayer information up there. And so this will get forwarded to the IRS. And let's just say that this happened in June. So this transaction would have been recorded in June of 2023. So if you don't report this, the IRS is going to see they got $50,000, and they're going to say, hey, you owe taxes on this $50,000. It's incumbent on you as the taxpayer to say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I sold this at a loss, so I don't owe you any tax. We know that you can't deduct it, but what you can do is show the IRS exactly what the cost was. So here we've got Schedule 1. This is the first way that you can report this. So all things being equal, you can fill out your Schedule 1 as appropriate. in this case, John Doe, his full social security number. And according to the IRS, you would go down to line 8Z. You would report Form 1099K, personal items sold at a loss, $50,000. There's your $50,000 entry. If there's no other items, you would report that additional income. Then you would go to page 2, which is where you report all of your adjustments to income. So then you would go to line 24Z. You would enter the same thing. Form 1099K, personal items sold at a loss, $50,000. You report that. You've got a $50,000 adjustment to income. So your $50,000 income is reported. It's adjusted downward by your $50,000, and that becomes a net zero capital gain. So that is one way that the IRS would ask you to report that transaction from your Form 1099K. So let me show you the other way, which is on IRS Form 8949. This would go to Schedule D. So we'll put links to these videos in the show notes, videos and articles. So so this is page 1. These are short-term transactions. Let's go to page 2. You would indicate box F, which is a long-term transaction that wasn't reported on a 1099B. So let's just say this was a car, even though we sold it to Acme Electronics. Well, let's just say that this was a long-term capital gain. Before we go through this, I do want to show you the screenshot of my original posting, and I'll point out the mistake. So I didn't see the instructions, so I went through the video and I said, well, if you can report it, you would put the proceeds. Let's just say that it costs $100,000, and it carried over to column H. So after I got this pointed out to me, I decided to take a second look at the 8949 instructions. Again, something I probably should have done the first time around. And there is a paragraph that walks you through exactly how you report this loss. So let's do that right now. So we got the same information here. We bought this in January 1st of 2022, sold it in June of 2023. So it definitely qualifies as a long-term transaction. We received $50,000 that was reported to us. It cost us $100,000. And according to the instructions, you would enter code L, which stands for, wait for it, it stands for non-deductible loss. So you would do that. You would make an adjustment entering $50,000 as a positive number. So instead of reporting a negative $50,000 here, you have an adjustment positive that would make that a zero gain. Zero gain, zero loss. This does carry over with the rest of your transactions onto Schedule D. And again, this is how the IRS would like you to report this, the sale of a personal item that you took a loss on, in a way that you don't actually deduct the loss on your tax return. So let me go back to the original page. Oh, sorry. Here we go. So there are other videos on how you would sell a personal item at a gain. If you do other things, there is a lot of information on IRS Form 1099K, because it's a relatively new form and the IRS guidance is evolving each year. For example, for 2024, they've lowered the threshold of the dollar amounts and the amount of transactions, I believe, for people to receive a Form 1099K. So we'll put links in the show notes to all of the articles and videos that we've produced on Form 1099K, Schedule 1, Form 8949, and Schedule D. Again, I wanted to thank Retired and Reselling. I'll try and I'll tag you in the comments or show notes if I can, just so that you get a notification. And to anyone else that listens, if you catch something that sounds like a mistake, please ask a question about it. Don't be a troll, but please ask a question. If I will do everything I can to research it. If it turns out that you're correct and I need to take down the video, I will record the video the day that you point it out to me, so that we have the right information going on to help as many people as possible. So if you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or if there's something that you'd like to see a video posted on, please hit me up in the comments section. Thank you very much and have a great day.